For decades, Barbara Mandrell wasn't just a country star. She was a symbol of class, confidence, and pure determination. The bright lights of Nashville once danced around her name, and her voice became the soundtrack to countless American homes. She wasn't just loved, she was adored. Her grace, her charm, her talent, all of it made her a rare gem in country music. But at 75, the woman who once ruled the stage now lives a life that feels heartbreakingly quiet. The story of how Barbara Mandrell went from dazzling the world to disappearing from it is as emotional as it is sad. Barbara Ann Mandrell was born on Christmas Day, 1948, and maybe that's why her presence always felt like a gift. From the very beginning, it was clear she wasn't like other kids. By 5, she could read music. By 11, she was performing in Las Vegas. Her father, Opry Mandrell, saw something in her that couldn't be ignored, a spark, a destiny. He built a family band around her talent, and soon, Barbara became the shining centerpiece. Her smile, her voice, her discipline, everything about her screamed star power. When she stepped into the country music scene, she didn't just join it, she changed it. Barbara wasn't afraid to be glamorous in a genre that often celebrated simplicity. She could play more instruments than most men in Nashville, yet she carried herself with warmth and femininity that made everyone love her. Songs like Sleeping Single in a Double Bed, I Was Country When Country Wasn't Cool, and If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right, didn't just top charts, they told stories people felt deep in their bones. But Barbara didn't stop there. She wanted to entertain, to connect, to make people smile. And that's exactly what she did with her hit variety show Barbara Mandrell and the Mandrell Sisters. Week after week, families tuned in to watch Barbara, Louise, and Earlene sing, laugh, and remind America what wholesome entertainment felt like. She was radiant, funny, flawless, fearless. But what people didn't see was the price she was paying behind the curtain. The long hours, the vocal strain, the endless rehearsals, it was all taking a toll. Doctors warned her that if she didn't stop, she could lose her voice for good. So, at the height of her fame, Barbara made a decision no one expected. She ended the show. It broke her heart, but she thought she'd have time to rest and heal. No one could have predicted the tragedy that was about to come. In September of 1984, Barbara's world shattered. She was driving near her Nashville home with her 2 children when her car collided head-on with another vehicle. The young man in the other car died instantly. Barbara suffered devastating injuries, broken bones, a crushed ankle, and a head injury so severe it affected her memory for months. She later said that she didn't even remember parts of her own life. That accident changed everything. The woman who once lit up every stage suddenly found herself struggling to remember lyrics, faces, even who she was. The physical pain was excruciating, but the emotional pain, the guilt, the grief was far worse. Barbara did recover, but she was never the same. She continued to perform, to smile, to give everything she had to her fans. But deep down, she was tired. The fame that once felt like a dream had turned into a burden. After decades of success, in 1997, Barbara Mandrell quietly walked away. No big announcement, no dramatic farewell. Just one final show at the Grand Ole Opry, where she said thank you and goodbye. She was only 48 years old. Since then, Barbara has chosen a life far away from the spotlight. The woman who once stood in front of thousands now spends her days in peace and privacy. She lives quietly in her Tennessee home, surrounded by faith, family, and memories. Her husband, Ken Dudney, has been by her side for more than 50 years. Through every triumph, every heartbreak, every loss, they raised 3 children together. And though Barbara rarely appears in public now, those who know her say she's content, even if the world she once ruled has long moved on without her. But still, there's a certain sadness to it all. Fans who grew up watching her can't help but feel emotional when they realize how completely she disappeared. No social media, no performances, no interviews. Just silence. The bright lights that once framed her every move have dimmed, leaving behind only memories. Beautiful, bittersweet memories of the woman who defined a generation of country music. And yet, her legacy still lives everywhere. In the songs that play softly on old jukeboxes. In the artists who call her their inspiration. In the way she proved that women could lead, shine, and stand tall in an industry that often told them they couldn't. Barbara Mandrell was elegance and energy, beauty and boldness, all wrapped into one extraordinary soul. In 2009, when she was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, she stood there, tearful, humbled, and said, "I'm just grateful." It was simple, but it said everything. After all the fame, the awards, the pain, and the peace, Barbara's heart has always been full of gratitude. Today, at 75, she doesn't chase fame anymore. She doesn't need to. She's already done more than most ever will. But for those who remember, seeing her fade into such quiet isolation feels like watching the last note of a beautiful song drift away, soft, gentle, and achingly sad. Barbara Mandrell will always be one of the brightest stars to ever grace country music. Her story isn't just one of fame. It's one of faith, resilience, and grace. Maybe the world misses her, but maybe, just maybe, she's finally found the peace she was always singing about.